I want to start by sharing with you a story of the shared leadership journey and transformation of Asian Hospital. And it's primarily the journey of Dr. Beaver and his leadership team and how they've been able to engage the organization up to this point within a period of 1 year, just 1 year, basically, that we've been working with him. So Dr. Beaver was hired by Asian Hospital through the efforts of Joey Briones, who was at that time the vice president for HR. And then in his first month, looking around the hospital, he realized that he needed to do something um, radical because he was looking at things that aren't in place, and many people are talking to him about what they need to do and so on. And so Ernie approached him and they're friends because Dr. Beaver is also a client when he was president of Merck Sharp and Dome, MSD, pharmaceutical company. And he had a very good experience working with Lim at that time when they were doing the moonshot, you know. So, but that's another story. Here, he wanted to replicate the same story, and he called us. So, as Lim coaches, Ernie, myself, and Ted supported him in his first leadership team activity. If you see this picture down below, I think that's third activity that we did for the team. But the first one was really about putting the team together. And so we did all of these sort of things like contracting, coming up with their norms, putting the team together in a team uh, member commitments. And so one of the challenges that I saw earlier was about how do we sustain, the gains from a shared leadership uh, intervention. And it's one of our experiences is that if we encourage or make the team own the process and take back whatever it is that they learned, they committed to, and they contracted in the sessions, then they're able to sustain themselves moving forward. All we need to do is just to follow them through. So that's what we also did because soon after that, we held another session for them in February. He was hired in November. We supported him because he asked for help, and then another one in February. And in February, he engaged the other doctors in the organization. So I'd like to also invite Ted to share some of the rest of the story because Ted has been very active in supporting Dr. Beaver and the leadership team in the subsequent sessions with the team. Ted?
Yeah, thanks, Ruby. So Ruby talked about sustaining the gains that we started in the first workshop when we came in and it all started because Dr. Beaver asked for help. The three little word that just made a huge difference in the story of Asian Hospital. But one of the things that the leadership team also realized is that for them to start to make some changes in the organization, they needed to role model what they were learning. It was not only sharing, but also walking the talk. And that is, I believe, one of the big steps that the senior leadership team took is just role modeling. We've shared with you some of the tools that teams use, that the senior leadership team used, and it was just trying it out in terms of sustaining the gains that they were starting to get, but also role modeling it. They had norms, they stuck to the norms. They used some of the tools. They used SRWR and not doing all the talking. They used a decision making tool, which we've also shared with them, which is FIST 5. And so it was not just the leaders, the shared leadership team leaders doing it, but role modeling on how the tools can be used. And so, little by little, as the senior leadership team started to use it, which is a way of sustaining it, they were also practicing it. Okay, so role modeling the use of it. Um, Talk about the team leader contract, staying within the contract, and so that we believe is a large part of the big leap that the organization made in moving forward. Ruby talked about bringing in the doctors, the heads of all of the medical units. And uh, I don't know for you, but for me, my experience with doctors is they know everything. They know everything. So that was a challenge that we were facing when we brought them in. But because the leadership team paused and allowed people to speak, SRWR, the norms, open space, and all of that, it was a way of just role modeling the use of the tools and just listening to everyone. So we've worked with them for a year, and today we're now at the space we're in last, actually December and then January. Um, Ernie talked about ownership. And while we were working with them, yes, to get more competent and more confident in the process, in the tools, so that the shared leadership culture really started to sink. It was again it was the senior leadership team who then decided, hey, we need to engage more of our next level of leaders so that this really starts to bring more people in terms of ownership. When we talk of shared leadership, we talk of sharing the influence, sharing the power, and sharing the ownership. So this is the IPO of shared leadership as you're trying to bring this to the rest of the organization. So in the December and January meetings, they decided that we need to bring in more of our leaders. And with that, they co-designed with us what a next engagement might look like, which is what we are doing with our next level of leaders this month, actually next week. And in doing so, one of our key partners has been the HR director. So in an organization, the human resource director plays a key role in terms of not just following through, but asking the tough questions, asking difficult questions of the leadership team, asking the difficult questions to Dr. Beaver, so that it's not being in a complacent space, but within the leadership team, they continue to look at what else can be done, what else and how else can they contribute. And it's the HR director who plays a key role in that. You know, one of the comments I saw, I think that was Rexy. Rexy, you said HR needs to initiate. Yes, needs to initiate, not only in terms of following through any sustaining initiatives, but also needs to initiate the role modeling of what has been learned and what the team says they will do. And then also initiate asking of questions. When we work with teams, it's not so much of telling, but it's a lot of encouraging the team leaders, the team members to learn to use questions to further ignite their curiosity, further to challenge each other, and to further reach decisions that they all agree on. And so, you know, this being a largely HR group in this morning session, the HR directors in each of the core organizations play a key role in terms of sustaining, in terms of role modeling, in terms of encouraging, in terms of organizing what may need to be done. Also, in terms of looking out, stepping back, and looking at the bigger picture and bringing into the picture what you as HR leaders see around the organization and bring forth the things that you observe as using a second pair of eyes. So in the workshop that we're doing this, it's not a workshop, it's a shared leadership development program now. It's a almost 6 month program wherein strategically each of the teams who are coming in will be working and contributing to their strategic goals for 2023, bringing um, challenges that the leadership team identified would be critical, would be helpful in contributing to the 2023 goals. And that's what the that's what the teams are going to be working on, supported by the leadership team members. So we have at least a pair of the leadership team as clients or as advisors to each of the teams, working also with team coaches. But and primarily one of the roles is to encourage to take out barriers and to bring in uh, what they continue to learn around shared leadership, around the team coaching concepts and tools.